All right, so Larry, this is a little bit of an unusual segment for you and I. We're walking here in an undisclosed location far away from both of our usual stomping grounds, but we happen to be in close to the same cities today, so I apologize we couldn't do something more formal, but it's always good to talk to you, and you've got some news to break for us.
Well, Jason, we got some really important documents in today, 11 emails from the special counsel's office, Robert Mueller, which I believe are going to show illegal criminal grand jury leaks, or at least give us leads on where we can look further.
Right.
Because we know that Mueller's been leaking. He's been leaking recently with regard to Roger Stone and Jerome Corsi, and he's got more leaks in him than the Titanic. And consequently, it's time that someone put their foot down, but we got a court to order they be produced. And the Justice Department today comes back and says, oh, we really can't email them to you. The great Justice Department, 7,000 lawyers, God knows how many other employees. And I said, either you email them to me today, or I'm going back to court before Judge Sullivan and have you held in contempt. So they eventually did it. And now we're going to go through these documents, you and I, and we're going to figure out what's in them. And then we're going to take appropriate action.
Nice. Well, we'll do another show when you feel the time is right, and we'll put these out to the Crowdsource community. What's going on with the stabilizer? Put this out to the Crowdsource community so that everybody can go through them. That was very effective, I thought, last time. We got a good view of how the press is almost a tool of the special counsel's office. We saw Shane Harris communicating with, look at that, something's wrong here. Saw Shane Harris communicating with Peter Carr, almost driving the narrative. I was very troubled by these communications between Shane Harris and Peter Carr, particularly given the reporting that Shane Harris has been doing about Peter W. Smith. And it really seems to me like they were trying to pin the sort of the seed of the Russian collusion on Peter Smith, who's dead, of course, and then tie Peter Smith to General Flynn. But Shane Harris reported several things that were directly contradicted by emails that Peter Smith sent to Charles Ortel. And when I called Shane Harris to talk about that, he hung up the phone on me.
Well, it's out of control, Jason. I mean, it really is. And after the midterm elections, look for all heck to break loose, because Mueller's obviously wanting to take the president down. The Democrats may be in control of Congress, in terms of the House of Representatives at least. And we're going to be going into impeachment proceedings if the Republicans don't keep the House, that's for sure. And Mueller's the trigger to that. He's going to be issuing a report, and he's going to be squeezing more witnesses, and this country is going to be ground to a halt unless something's done now.
Larry, don't you agree that Robert Mueller's decision to wait until after the election to release information about his investigation indicates that he's got nothing?
No, I don't think so, Jason. I think it doesn't matter whether he has nothing. He'll make it into something. And whether it's to the issue of criminality, that remains to be seen. But impeachment does not hinge on criminality. Impeachment hinges on a decision by the House of Representatives whether there's high crimes and misdemeanors. There doesn't have to be criminality. You can be impeached for anything.
Wow.
Be impeached for making love to a horse. I mean, that's unfortunately the state of our country.
That was sort of what happened with Stormy Daniels. What do you think about, it just fell out of my head what I was going to... Adam Schiff. Today, he said there was going to be consequences if the Democrats don't win. What kind of a thing is that to say?
I don't know. He's a very strange human being. Last week, he's leveling charges that President Trump is an anti-Semite, the greatest friend of Israel in modern history as a president. He's totally out of control, and he's a liar. And, there is divine justice. Adam Schiff will get his in the end in some way. He'll slip up in some area.
Yeah.
And he'll wind up... in some legal difficulty, I'm sure.
I spoke with him on Long Island Railroad train, literally walked up to him and said, did anybody ever tell you look just like Adam Schiff? And he said, I am Adam Schiff. And I said, where the hell is the evidence? He got very
Adam
upset.
Shifty, yeah. Well, he's the congressman from West Hollywood, which is certainly interesting.
Yeah, we did an investigation into that with Martha a while ago.
Yeah.
Now, the other big thing you've got going on, Larry, is this lawsuit against Twitter. We've seen really unprecedented monopolistic activity from the major tech companies lately. What's been happening with that lawsuit?
Well, this is interesting, Jason, because all the tech companies that we sued, Google, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Apple, they all banded together and are filing briefs together, which kind of makes our point that they're colluding. I mean, why wouldn't they come in there separately? But now they have joint legal representation.
It's crazy.
So it's David against Goliath, and frankly, we can use the tax-deductible contributions because we're going to have to ramp up and hire more people. And these people are, they're massive. These law firms are huge. If you added them all up, they'd be over 5,000 lawyers. I mean, that's what they've got.
So we definitely need people to go to freedomwatchusa.org and support the work that Larry and his team are doing. I was speaking with Laura Loomer the other day. Of course, she's been kicked off of Twitter for exactly the right number of days and hours to prevent her from posting anything additional before the election. And I mean, that seems like a pretty deliberate, obvious, you know, how much more obvious could it get?
No, well, Laura's really making a name for herself. She's becoming a threat to the left. She's fearless.
Yeah.
And, you know, they took her out. And look, you've got on Twitter still Louis Farrakhan, who's more than an anti-Semite. I mean, the guy incited murder in Dallas. I have lawsuits against him there.
Wow.
When the cops were murdered there, 5 of them.
Wow.
And, you know, it's a terrible situation. Yesterday, I filed a lawsuit for Ryan Bundy, who's running for governor in Nevada, fighting back against the malicious prosecution. I named Jeff Sessions as the lead defendant in that case. It's called a Bivens action. We're holding Sessions and Eric Holder and Loretta Lynch and James Comey and Neil Cornsey, who ran Bureau of Land Management. They send in their goons at the request of Harry Reid. And, you know, that's a very powerful case. And Ryan is standing there for the people of Nevada and for the American people. And it's time that people fight back against this federal government tyranny in particular.
Did you find it strange that Jeff Sessions popped out of hiding for seemingly the first time in 2 years to explain to everyone how a seemingly dim strip club bouncer built a bunch of fake bombs and sent them around? Why did Jeff Sessions give that press conference and he hasn't said anything about anything else?
Well, you know, Jeff Sessions is now a great, left loves him right now, you know, and here this bomber did the Democrats a great favor. And frankly, I doubt they were even bombs.
They don't look real. Explosives experts have said. How would they go off with a timer sent through the mail?
I think he was paid to do it by some Democrat or leftist activist, maybe even George Soros, who knows?
He got the first one, the first test one in the mail.
But, you know, it doesn't make it right. It's not a good thing. I mean, the guy should be prosecuted for something, but it's interesting they're prosecuting him not for attempted murder, but for sending explosives through the mail. So something's not quite right here, and the FBI's not coming clean on exactly what he was doing.
That's a great point. Yeah, why would they not charge him with attempted murder?
Well, because what he sent wasn't intended to go off. He was just trying to scare people.
Wow.
Doesn't justify it.
Wow, crazy. Well, all right, so Larry, we'll take a look at those emails and we'll see what we have in there, and we'll do a more complete episode with you then. But until that happens, probably sometime later this week or early next week, people should definitely go to freedomwatchusa.org and contribute. You gotta make sure Larry has the resources that he needs to fight this corruption. There really are not any other lawyers who are doing what Larry and his team are doing. So I really hope people will go over there, and we will see you soon when we have more information. And thanks so much, Larry.
You're welcome. Thank you, Jason. Great seeing you.